Well, hi there everybody, and welcome to Mormon Vegetarian Recipes. Today we're going to make soup. Now my family and I, we love soup, and we've got some favorite recipes from butternut squash soup to red lentil soup to Linda makes an incredible black bean soup. But I think the soup we're going to make today is my absolute favorite. It's smoky chickpea red lentil and vegetable soup. I'm going to tell you the ingredients that go into it. I double the recipe, by the way. And so everything I'm giving you is about double what it normally calls for. And but you can do it a single batch or a double batch or whatever you like. The other thing I would say is these recipes are made for your own personal intuition and touch. So I'm working from an original recipe from Once Upon a Chef, but I found that as I've made this over time that I have changed some of the amounts of the ingredients, added in a few things here. But the essential ingredients are exactly the same. So let me tell you what you're going to need. A big pot, obviously, to make it. The base of it is onions. We've got some olive oil to make it all really nice. The chickpeas, as I mentioned, and I make my own. I take from dried chickpeas, I reconstitute them, and then boil them. I find that they're just better. You've got greens. You've got, in this case, frozen peas and frozen cut beans, carrots. Here's our red lentils. We've got garlic, we've got cumin, paprika, crushed tomatoes. You can use chopped tomatoes if you like. We've got thyme, bay leaves, which are wonderful, pepper, sea salt. And those are the ingredients essentially that you're going to need. And now I'm going to show you how to put it all together. We're ready to make the soup. The first thing you want to do is heat the olive oil over medium heat. And the first thing you do is you put in the onions. Now I've got 2 full-size yellow onions. Some people like a little bit more, a little bit less. I like lots of onion. So you put the onions in and you stir these over medium heat for about 5 minutes until they're tender. Okay, so these onions have been cooking in the olive oil for about 5 minutes. They're nice and tender. And now we're going to add a few things. We're going to add the garlic. And these are minced garlic, fresh garlic. We've got 8 cloves that I'm going to use. Put 8 cloves of garlic. We got 2 large carrots, finely chopped. Put the carrots in there. The colors of this soup are just fantastic. Put the carrots in there. We're going to add a few of our spices now. We've got our paprika. This is a ½ teaspoon of paprika, beautiful paprika. Gives that nice smoky red texture and flavor. We've got 1.5 teaspoons of cumin. Of course, the cumin, that gives it that smoky, robust flavor. And we want to brown this all together. Come in and take a look at that, Linda. I'm going to put that all together. I want to cook this for about another 2 minutes. And then we'll come back and carry on. This has been cooking for about 2 minutes, again on medium heat, and now we're ready to add the broth. Now I've got 8 cups of water here, so I'm putting in 8 cups of water. Some people would just leave it that. We actually like to make it a little bit of a vegetable broth, and so we take 2 cubes of vegetable bouillon, put them in there. They'll dissolve nicely. So you got 2 things. You can use 1 depending on how you want to adjust that for your taste. We're going to put in 4 bay leaves. Now this is really important. You're going to put the bay leaves in there. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. Those infuse a beautiful taste to it. And then you're going to see we're going to fish those out before we finish. We're putting in our red lentils. Now it's really important that you rinse these before you put them in. Put them under the tap, rinse them through and then you'll notice that the water will become clear. When the water becomes clear, you're good. I use for this double recipe 1 cup of red lentils. These are kind of stuck in there a little bit, but we'll get the red lentils in there. I'll put the rest of them in a minute. Put in the crushed tomatoes. Now I use crushed tomatoes. Some people like to use chopped tomatoes. And I use a full 28 ounce can of tomatoes. Put that in there. I'll put the rest of the red lentils in just a minute. You've got a full teaspoon of dried thyme. Beautiful dried thyme. We'll sprinkle that in there. You're going to want 2 teaspoons of salt. Again, you probably might not need as much because of the vegetable bouillon you put in there, but I put in 2 teaspoons of sea salt. I use that Redmond real salt from the Great Salt Lake area. It's beautifully done. You want a half a teaspoon of pepper. And you mix all that together. And you're going to want to bring that to a boil. Cover the pot and reduce the heat to a simmer, and you cook for about 10 minutes. Now this is all before we put the chickpeas in. I'm going to put the rest of these red lentils in, bring it to a boil, simmer it for about 10 minutes. Okay, so we brought this to a boil. We covered it, simmered it, and let it simmer for about 10 minutes. And so now we're going to add in the chickpeas. Remember, this is the smoky red lentil chickpea, actually smoky chickpea red lentil and vegetable soup. So I'm going to put about 2 cups in. Again, this is a double batch. Got 2 cups of chickpeas in there. Again, you can use canned chickpeas. Come and get a closer look at this, Linda. I like to make my own, or at least reconstitute my own from dried chickpeas, and it becomes beautiful. So we're going to put those chickpeas in there. We're going to cover this up and cook it for about another 10 minutes. Okay, we've fished out the 4 bay leaves, which is important. We've taken 4 cups of the soup itself. Come on over here, Linda. You take 4 cups out, put it into a blender, my Vitamix, and then you put, and this is really key. I've never done this before in a soup, but it makes it so nice and creamy. Then you take the 4 cups that we took out, again, 2 cups if you're doing a half batch, or actually the original recipe. You put that back into the soup, and you'll see, Linda will make a nice close-up here, how nice and creamy that makes the soup. And I got to tell you too, because of the way that we've modified this recipe, our soup is much thicker. It's almost more like a gumbo. You can put in less of the ingredients to make it more liquid and more soup-like. So you can see that's what the soup looks like now. Now you throw in the vegetables. Now I've got, in this case, frozen green beans, cut green beans, and frozen peas. And those I've got, I think, 2 cups of each. Again, that's probably double what they normally ask for, but we love lots of greens in our soups. So we're putting the green peas and cut green beans in there. Gives it a beautiful color. Mix that all in there. Let's see how pretty that is. And then the original recipe doesn't ask for this. We like to chop up some fresh spinach. You can use kale if you wanted. Well, how much do you think we've got there, Linda?
2 or 3 cups.
2 or 3 cups. We put that spinach in there. You always want to put your spinach in at the very last. Mix all that up. And you've got an amazing smoky chickpea, red lentil, and vegetable soup. If you like it even creamier than this, even thicker than this, you could actually puree more of the soup. We did 4 cups in this double batch. Take a look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So there you go. That took us about 30 minutes to do all this, a little bit more in preparation time. And I've made this 2 or 3 times. I've probably made it more than that. Rave reviews every time. My families that I home teach expect some of it every month. They'll be getting some of this. So we're going to let this cook for just a little bit more. Take another close look at that, Linda. And then we'll come back, we'll ladle some up, and we'll do a taste test. Okay, there you have it. It's our smoky chickpea, red lentil, and vegetable soup. I'm going to try it. Oh man, it's phenomenal. Try it, let me know what you think.